What is your name, please?
My name is Henry Slomanski.
What is your name, please?
My name is Henry Slomanski.
What is your name, please?
My name is Henry Slomanski.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one is the real Henry Slomanski, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now, here is our host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Rise Instant Lather, the inventor of aerated shaving. For smoothest shaves in half the time, get Rise, America's largest-selling shave cream. Now may I introduce our panel. First, Miss Polly Bergen. And back with us, and I couldn't welcome him more, our friend and colleague and star of Sunrise at Campobello for such a long time it kept him away from us, Mr. Ralph Bellamy. Next, Miss Monique Van Voren. And finally, Mr. Tom Poston. Ralph, good to have you back.
Good to be here. I missed it.
I hope you stay around as long as you can. Come back any time you can.
Thank you, Bud.
All right, panel, would you please follow along with your copies of this affidavit as I read it? I, Henry Slomanski, am a master sergeant in the United States Army. I am a master parachutist and an instructor at the 101st Airborne Division School at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I am also an international commissioner of the 2,600-year-old Japanese sport of karate. Karate means empty or bare-handed fighting. In Japan, a karate expert's hands are considered so lethal, he must be registered with the police. A trained karate man can drive his hand completely through 4 inches of solid wood. Social graces are also important in rising into the higher degrees of karate. Only 2 men in the world outrank me in karate. Both are Japanese, over 65 years old. For the past 6 years, I have been the international karate champion. Signed, Henry Slomanski. Panel, as you heard, we have here 3 husky gentlemen, all claiming to be Henry Slomanski, international karate champion. Are you all ready, gentlemen? All right, let's start this first round then with Tom Poston. Tom, if you please.
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, have you ever been to France?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Number 1, how many drops did the 101st make in World War II?
I haven't the slightest idea, sir.
I take it that you were not in the 101st during World War II. Were you number 2?
Yes, sir.
How many drops did you make?
60.
Good heavens above.
From heavens above.
60 combat drops?
That's including training.
Oh, I see. Number 3, could you tell me the major combat drops during the campaign in the ETO during World War II?
Normandy, Sicily, Holland, Belgium.
Number 2, you've been to France.
Polly Bergen.
Number 1, it says here that you can drive your hand through 4 inches of wood.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe you could help me. What is the easiest way to remove a splinter? Do you get them?
Occasionally, if the wood is not dry enough.
If the wood isn't dry enough.
Yes, ma'am.
And number 2, it says here that you also have to learn all sorts of social graces. What social graces would they be?
Such as manners, learning how to arrange a flower garden, etc.
Oh, you mean you learn how to put the flowers on the opponent's chest?
No, in Japan, you're invited to a Japanese home. You must go through the social graces in the middle class.
I see.
Ralph Bellamy.
Number 1, you're an expert on things Oriental. Does the name T.F. Hodge mean anything to you?
No, sir.
Number 2, does it to you?
No, sir.
Number 3, does it to you?
No, sir.
Number 1, where did the 101st Airborne first distinguish itself?
I wasn't with them, sir, but I understand it was at Bastogne during World War II.
Number 2, what is the lowest altitude at which a parachute will safely open?
175 feet.
And number 3, what's the highest altitude at which a parachute will safely open?
It'll open in any altitude.
Any altitude.
Yes, sir.
Number 1, you say the same?
Thanks, sir.
Number 1, I see you have a patch on your blouse. What does it mean?
It's the Order of the Golden Fist, ma'am.
And you have some Japanese writings right underneath. What does it say?
Henry Slomanski.
What is the place where do you hold your championship? Number 1.
We hold them, the last time they were held, it was at the Karate Federation in Tokyo.
Number 2, do women practice karate?
Not generally. It's generally for men only, Japanese men.
Number 3,
Let's keep it that way, too. I think it's the best place for it. And it's time to vote, panel, so without consultation, will you kindly now mark your ballots? And in doing so, you will select, if you please, number 1, number 2, or number 3. Remember that the team of challengers receives $250 for every incorrect vote. Okay, panel, have you all marked your ballots? Polly, all set? For whom did you vote, Polly?
Well, my nurse was so impossible last week because she got 3 right. And she egged me on all week because of it. And if I get any wrong this week, she said I should vote for the quiet one. And so I vote for number 3.
Number 3.
If she isn't right, you're fired.
Ralph, what about your vote?
Number 2. He was quicker with his answers, and there's a look in his eye, and for a minute I was with number 1, but he's perspiring, and I don't think a karate expert would perspire.
Okay, Monique, your vote, please.
well, I vote for number 2 because I think number 1 looks so rough that he must be the right one. So I vote for number 2.
Tom Poston, which one do you think is the real one?
I voted for number 2, Bud. I tell you, they're all pretty lethal, but the social graces seem to be important in this, too, and I think number 2 looks like the kind of man who would say, "Excuse me," before he broke your arm.
All right, if that's what we mean by social graces, there we have it. The votes are in, minds are made up, and if you're playing along at home, let's find out now how right or wrong you are, we are, as we do a little discovering right now. I'm sure you remember it said in the affidavit that a karate expert can drive his bare hand through a plank of wood and all kinds of things like that. So, I have a plank of wood that I got backstage, and it's a solid piece of wood. I wouldn't want to try to put my hand through it, I'll tell you that. So, I'm going to ask the real one, the gentleman who is our real Sergeant Slomanski, to actually do this for us as a way of identifying him. Gentlemen, would you mind getting up and coming around in front of your desk, please? All right, now I'm going to ask the real Sergeant Slomanski to break through this board with his bare fist. Now, gentlemen, you may examine the board. The only thing I don't understand is he put his hand through it, but my hand hurt.
Could you see his hand?
Sure, go ahead.
Could you hold your hand up? Not so big.
You ask him afterwards how they toughen those hands. It's a pretty frightening story. Thank you very much, sir. Number 1, you tell us your real name and what you really do.
My name is Leo Marks. I'm an advertising salesman with Q Magazine, and I'm a coward.
What degree?
Nice.
Number 2, would you tell us your real name, what you do, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Arthur Mercanti. I'm a professional boxing referee in New York State, and I'm a sales representative for Liebman Breweries, makers of Rheingold beer.
Well, gentlemen, we thank you very much for being with us tonight and checking up on our score. You did very well as far as the panel is concerned. You had 3 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $750 from Rise, which is not bad at all. On your way out, you'll find a year's supply of Rise Instant Lather for each of you. Good night. Thanks for playing our game with us, and the best of luck to you all.